One of the world's worst online offenders was today jailed for life for tormenting and abusing 70 children, although the real number of his victims is thought to be more than 3,000.
Okay, so you did a thing. You sent a picture of yourself with no clothes on. Something you thought wouldn't be shared. And in a polite society, cats wear clothes, right? Now things have gone wrong.
12-year-old Cimarron Thompson was just like any other curious pre-teenage girl, exploring the world around her, spending hours in her room listening to Katy Perry and watching Netflix. So when she unalived herself with her father's at her home in West Virginia in May of 2018, her devastated family were blindsided, unaware that she had become caught in a cruel web of deception spun by the UK's most prolific catfish sexual abuser. Today we're going to discuss the catfish killer, Alexander Mccartney. Hello, my name is Holly. Welcome to the Murder She Shed, the place we discuss rarely told true crime right here from my little she shed. I sometimes get lost in this big YouTube world, so help a nerdy girl out and smash the subscribe button. This is an unbelievably tough case to get through today. That being said, at the end, I will be ending Halloween by adding a lighthearted clip on the end of how I defeated Mr. Ghostface and Mike the Mullet Man. This is only going to make sense if you watch my previous Halloween videos. If you have not, then you probably shouldn't watch it. You just won't understand. You won't get it unless you want to go back and watch my other Halloween videos. They're on here. Just check out my channel. Few videos back, I think I've done, this is the fourth one in October. Go start from the beginning and check them all out. Anyway, I'm going to have to give a viewer discretion is advised on this video. It involves, essay of a minor. Oh, and so many disturbing things. Cimarron Thompson was born July 7, 2005 in Montana. Her parents were Benjamin and Stephanie Irvine Thomas, and she had one younger sister. The family lived in Brewston Mills, West Virginia. Cimarron attended the Brewston Middle School where she was in the 7th grade, and she is a member of the Brewston volleyball team. She played the violin. She loved elephants and chatting with her friends on Snapchat. She was just a beautiful and innocent 12-year-old child who was exploring her sexuality. Cimarron had just told her parents that she had thought that she might be bisexual just a few days before she took her own life. On May 10, 2018, Cimarron's 9-year-old sister found her dead in her parents' bedroom floor after hearing a loud pop. Her family assumed her death was caused by her being unsure about her sexuality. Her father, being a U.S. Army veteran, blamed himself for her death because he felt that he left his gun where it could be easily accessed. The guilt caused him to go into extreme depression, and 2 years later, he lost his job and then took his own life. Her father passed away before learning the true reason his little girl had made the decision to end her own life. After a predator was arrested in 2021, Cimarron's family would learn the truth behind her death. A sadistic man had preyed upon her innocence. Born April 2, 1988, Alexander Mccartney was raised in a quiet farming community less than 10 miles from the Irish border. Alex lived with his father, a timber yard manager, mother, and 3 siblings in a 5-bedroom bungalow. From a young age, he showed an aptitude for computers and went on to study computer science at university. He used this to his advantage to take these little girls and just destroy their innocence. Former high school classmates of Alex described him as soft-spoken, introverted, pleasant, intelligent, socially awkward, as well as quiet, and didn't really get involved with the rest of the class. Alex said that he was catfished by an online woman named Sree, who was actually a man when he was just 14 years old, although that could never be proven. He claims he was blackmailed by Sree after he sent nude images to her. By 17, police were already knocking at his parents' door. On January 20, 2016, police seized a large amount of electronic devices from his bedroom. A large amount of indecent images of children were found on 4 of those devices. 245 of these images were recovered from a Packard Bell laptop. Analysis revealed that the internet chat service Omegle had been used to send a message undated with the words, "I am willing to show you anything you want on Kik for lots of pics of hot teen girls." The examination of his tablet device, which held over 3,000 of the images, found that applications entitled Hide Pictures, Keep Safe Fault, and Keep Safe have been installed. These applications were used to hide files. The Keep Safe application has been used to protect indecent image of children within it. Further examination of Alex's phone revealed deleted chat conversations showing him demanding images. One girl from whom he demanded nude images said, "I just want to kill myself." His response was to tell her that she was on her final warning. He demanded a picture of her top area and face. He said that if she did not provide them, then everyone on Instagram will see those pictures she had sent him. When she said that she thought she was going to die, he said, "I don't care." After all the devices were analyzed, he was arrested and interviewed on February 4, 2016 before being released on bail. His home was searched on a further 3 occasions. During this first search in 2016, the police found a handwritten note which began with the words, "Dear Mom and Dad, I would like to say sorry and explain." In this note, he claimed that when he was 14, he himself had been the victim of catfishing and had been deceived into sending these compromising images of himself with the other person threatening to ruin his life. This note suggested that he had been made to do the same thing to other people then by this online predator he claimed he was victimized by. He said that he had been directed how to do it by using a false profile picture to pretend that he was a girl. His letter concluded, "Since September, I have wanted to end it one way or another, as he had the power to ruin my life. I shouldn't live with the guilt anymore, and I have been depressed ever since. I should have stopped long ago, and I was stupid, so it spiraled out of control. So I can't take it anymore. I'm so sorry. Goodbye. I love you all." This is when he told the story to the police of how Sarah had catfished him, supposedly. Police believe that Alex actually laid the ground in advance just in case the police ever caught up with him. He would then have a ready-made excuse or explanation for his actions. He would tell his parents and police that he was basically forced to do it by this man named Sarah. So he wouldn't take the blame of his own actions. This was just the beginning of his sadistic behavior towards young children. Alex's victims were located all over the world. They were in Northern Ireland, in the rest of the United Kingdom, in the Republic of Ireland, and in continental Europe. They were also in New Zealand, Australia, and the U.S. His victims were usually young girls from 10 to 16 years of age. He primarily used the application Snapchat, but also Instagram and messenger sites, including Kik and Omegle. I'm not sure if it's Omegle or Omegle. Forgive me. I don't know about all these applications, but he used these to contact these young girls. He pretended to be a young teenage girl and deceived his victims into sending images of themselves. In order to carry out this abuse, Alex set up false online profiles in the name of girls. Examples of those which he used are Chloe 1313X, Anna 132X, Hannah 133X. With this online persona, he targeted young girls who were either gay or who were exploring their sexuality with other girls, and did so by posing himself as a young teenage girl who was struggling with body image and her sexuality and was reaching out to others that had similar issues. In doing so, he preyed on their insecurity. His choice of victim was particularly calculating and was sinister because the fact that they were exploring their homosexuality added an additional layer of security to his actions. He knew he pretty much had them because he knew they weren't going to report to their parents what had happened to them. Then they would have to admit to their parents not only that he had nude images of them online, but also that they might be gay. He sent them a photograph of a girl as if it were a picture of himself. To make matters worse, on some occasions, these pictures he sent were photographs of his previous victims. He would then encourage them to send to him compromising pictures of themselves, usually involving them being topless. He did so by a combination of flattery and persuasion, complimenting them on their appearance and reassuring them that they were very attractive. He got in their head. He messed with their head, and he got so good at it that it didn't take him very long. He groomed them, and then he just laid it all out there, asking for pictures. When they sent their images, he would expose his fraud by sending them a template message saying that he was a catfish. And if they didn't do what he said, he then would threaten to upload the images which they had sent to him to the internet or send them to the victim's friends and family. He was able to convince them of his abilities through technical knowledge consistent with the degree in computer science that he was studying for at the Ulster University. On occasions, he sent images indicating their locations on snap maps, showing that he knew where they lived and went to school. Sure, that was scary. He threatened one particular victim that he would put her image online and get people to go to her home. He would demand that the girls obey him, that they acted quickly, and that they remained in the chat forum with him. He would usually specify a period, often a number of hours, during which they would be required to comply. He often extended the time period as he wished, knowing that they were helpless to resist. Sometimes he would demand their return onto the chat at a particular time or even a future day. This engagement could be as far as little as an hour, but some victims were contacted repeatedly. On one occasion, there was a gap of even a month. Just wanted to torture them in their head. As an additional incentive to give in to his demands, he would promise to then delete all the images of his victims after it was over. He did not, however, keep this promise because multiple images of his victims were later recovered from his devices by police. He required the girls to provide naked images and to adopt sexual poses and to perform sexual acts for him to watch, often touching themselves. He would demand that they would include their faces in these images. Commonly, these acts were penetrative in nature. He would also demand that they involve a younger sibling and would order them to commit sexual acts on their sibling, including front and back penetration. I'm trying to be real careful. It's very hard because it's a hard case. Those siblings included some who were as young as 3 and 5 years of age. In one instance, a 13-year-old victim said that her 11-year-old sister was throwing up and did not want to do it. When she sent some images, he claimed greater power over her, saying that he had pictures and video of her doing these acts with her sister. He then demanded 30 more minutes and added that the images had to include her sister's face. When she told him that she would go to the police, he said that he was secure because he had been doing this for a while now and he hadn't been bothered by the police. Alex found even more ways to degrade and humiliate his victims. Commonly, he ordered them to urinate and defecate on themselves or on the floor. Other ways included the handling of feces or acts with animals, which usually were the girls' pets. Alex made one girl write on herself in marker pen that said she was a little F toy. Alex then had an image of her with this on her body that he kept. In their desperation, the little girls were begged for him to stop and pleaded for assurance that their images would not be put on the internet or sent to their family and friends. It's just so sad. Many were crying and told him that they were shaking and were terrified by the situation that he had put them in. Typically, his response to these girls were cold, and he simply repeated his demands, no heart at all. Some of his victims told him that they would kill themselves as they pleaded with him to leave them alone. Others in desperation threatened to harm themselves. Some actually did so on camera. One victim sent him a number of videos pleading with him before sending him an image of a significant cut to her arm, which was bleeding. His response was lacking in any natural human empathy. When another victim repeatedly said that she would kill herself and that her mother was dying from cancer and from a heart defect, his response was to say, "I do not give a shit about you or your mom." Some of the victims asked him why was he doing what he was doing. He gave a variety of explanations. These included explanations which may be honest, such as, "I'm just messed up and into weird stuff, and I just get this urge where I like to be in full control." Elsewhere, he made false allegations against his own parents by saying, for instance, that his mom and dad were not nice people and had been in prison for abusing him. He also claimed that he was adopted when he was about 9 or 10, and he claimed that his parents had married him, which was actually not true at all. He just lied about all of that. It is believed that Alex targeted over 3,500 girls. After his arrest in 2016, he continued his sadistic behavior all the way until 2019 when he was finally arrested again and not released on bail. He was 21 years old at the time of his arrest and had started his interest in children when he was 15. It was not known until 2021 that he was the reason that Cimarron had killed herself. The UK investigation team received information from Homeland Security in the US that Cimarron had been online with Alex when she had taken her own life. The chat conversation between Cimarron and Alex was recovered from his laptop, which was seized on March 18, 2019. The interaction between Alex and Cimarron began when he contacted her via Snapchat at about 4 a.m. on May 7, 2018. In West Virginia, that would have been approximately 11 p.m. The evidence recovered from his laptop was that he used a profile, Sarah131X, to introduce himself, and within a short time, he had prayed and was able to convince her into sending a topless photograph and a video of herself playing with herself. 15 minutes into the chat, he told her that he now had her nudes and face pictures, so that she was going to do everything that he had told her tonight, or he would upload everything online for everyone to see, including everyone in her Instagram account. Kept her online for almost 2 hours. In the course of this 2-hour nightmare for Cimarron, Alex demanded photographs from her. He ordered her to do multiple degrading and humiliating acts, many of which she complied with out of fear that she would be exposed. And I'm not going to go in full detail because she's a victim here, and it's awful. He concluded by telling her she had done well and that she could block him and that he would then delete the images which she had sent him. 2 nights later, though, he contacted her again. This time he used a different profile, which she told him to go and to leave her alone. He replied that by indicating they felt like she had made him rush at the end of the exchange 2 nights earlier. So if she wanted him to delete these images, she had to play with him one more time. Cimarron was coerced into agreeing to stay with him for 1 hour and began to send more pictures. She was very distressed and began to cry. He then asked her to include her brother, but she told him, "I don't have a brother." He then told Cimarron he wanted her to do things to her 9-year-old little sister while he watched. When Cimarron protested that no, it would just be her, he said that he would start uploading and spreading everything. She cried and told him that she would shoot herself, and his response was, "Good luck and goodbye, and you will see what happens by tonight. I tried to be nice by offering to delete them for you." The conversation concluded after just 33 minutes because she just wouldn't comply to his demands. Cimarron had gone into her parents' bedroom, her parents being out for the evening. She found her father's and killed herself with it. Her little sister found her body. She picked up Cimarron's phone and hit the panic button, which dials 911, the emergency number.
Preston County 911, what's the address of your emergency? What happened? She fell? Shot herself? What's your address? Is she okay? Are you next to her? I need you to get in there and get some rags and put pressure on that wound, find out to control the bleeding, and I need to secure the firearm. Are you there?
No, she shot herself in the head.
Shot herself in the head? Okay. And can you get pressure on that with some rags? You able to secure the firearm?
Yeah, I put it aside.
Okay, and she's breathing? Just turn her to the side. To the side so she can doesn't aspirate, okay? Yep, on her side. Keep applying pressure. We have help coming.
On the advice of the operator, the 9-year-old girl ran to her neighbor's house. The neighbor returned with her and found Cimarron unresponsive. The ambulance arrived shortly afterwards, and Cimarron was pronounced dead shortly after midnight on May 11, 2018. Her sister says that Cimarron had told her parents that she thought she might be bisexual. At the time, there was no other reason that anyone was aware of that which might have led to her killing herself until conversations and images were found on Alex's computer. Sadly, Cimarron and her father's life ended because of this predator's sadistic actions. The beast was finally snared after a brave 13-year-old little girl in Scotland reported him to the police. But the damage was already done to thousands of little girls, some who had never came forward yet to die. Cimarron Thompson's grandparents, Peggy and Dale Thompson, gave a victim impact statement in court. They said our lives will never be the same. We didn't get to see her graduate, walk down the aisle, or have children. We have been robbed of these memories. Our lives have been changed forever. Alex admitted 185 charges involving 70 children as young as 10. He also pled guilty to Cimarron's manslaughter earlier this year. He is the first person in the UK to be sentenced for manslaughter when the victim resided in a foreign jurisdiction. Alex was jailed for life for his campaign of sick depravity with a minimum of 20 years behind bars. It's an awful, awful case. Cimarron, may you and your father rest in peace. Also, if you're a victim of this evil predator, you should come forward to the police and let your family know what happened to you. Only by doing this will the healing begin, and you can get the much-needed help you deserve and need. Trust me, I know, as I was a victim of a predator myself when I was just 7 years old. Cannot remain silent and heal. You have to tell others. You have to tell your story. You have to let people know. If you're a victim of him or anybody, come forward. Come forward. If one person won't listen to you and won't believe you, you tell another. Don't just stop there. Make sure you tell somebody you can trust. All right, I love you guys. And now to bring us out of this sadness, I will be adding on the end my little skit of how I defeated my mortal enemies. I meant to release this episode on Halloween, but I've been extremely busy babysitting my beautiful little granddaughter. And also we're building an upstairs theater room, which has been really exciting. So I've been super busy and I wanted to get back on Halloween, but it is what it is. So you get it now instead. All right, I love you guys, and let me end with a skit. Maybe you're wondering how I defeated death and why Mike the Mullet Man is not with us today. Well, let me explain. It's kind of a long story. Well, it all began on a dark and stormy night because doesn't it always? When Mike the Mullet Man was inside the murder she shed, drinking and just having the time of his life. Thought that he had a perfect life now that he had taken control over Holly's life. He could tell true crime stories, sleep and drink beer, and that was all right with old Mike. Well, like I said, it was a dark and stormy night when Mr. Ghostface returned for old Mike. Mike was so busy dancing that he didn't see the figure outside peering through the window. Mike had drank so many beers already that he had forgotten to lock the she-shed doors.
Storytown, we know how to get down on a lazy Saturday night. So grab yourself a cold one, smoke 'em if you got 'em, 'cause the party's right outside. Out by the bonfire, stomping them boots on that red Georgia clay. Tap that kick, get your shine on, 'cause the kid came to play. and we don't need much of anything. Won't you break out that flat top so these country boys can sing?
Suddenly, Mike receives a call. Hello, who is this?
You should never say who's there. Don't you watch scary movies? It's a death wish.
Mother, you should really give up smoking because it's making your voice sound like you're a constipated frog.
I'm not your mother, but I have seen your mother, and let's face it, your mother is no Sharon Stone. Maybe more like Karen stoned out of her mind.
Who are you then?
Why, your favorite ghost, Mr. Ghostface.
I don't believe in Ghostface, and I know it's you, Mother, just trying to scare me into coming back and living with you in that trailer. I'm busy right now, so bye.
If you hang up on me, you'll die just like your mother.
What?
No big loss then.
Well, hello everyone, I am alive. Let's rewind to the night of my murder. Mr. Ghostface was old Mike that night. Did come in and stab me, but I had a huge Cheeto bag inside my shirt. The bag saved my life. I played dead and watched as old Mike revealed his true self. He had to run to the store to get more beer before he actually buried me. So while he was gone, I ran out and bought a sex doll. No kidding. And I dressed it in my clothes. Old Mike came back drunk as a skunk and believed that doll he buried was me. Hopefully we don't see Mullet Man Mike again until at least next Halloween. I'm so happy I survived to tell you guys true crime again. Tell them bye. Say bye, we love you at the Murder She Said. It's supposed to rain all weekend, so that kind of sucks. But we're going to do stuff while we can. Did you just belch on me? You just belched on me, my beautiful baby boy. You belched on mama. Did I pet your back too many times? All right. See y'all later.